Hello and welcome back to another episode of The Devil's Cut, a podcast about all the things that go bump in the night. If it's spooky, scary, or spine-tingling, we're here to talk about it. I'm your resident man-boy possessed by a devil, Matt Young, and here with me, as always, is the skeleton everyone should want in their closet.
Eric Rossi.
Oh man, it's been a while since I've had to say that line.
It came out so clean.
And it felt very, I know. Usually I fuck up around my intro part, is where I tend to fuck up. But this time, it just came out, it felt good. But yeah, everybody, welcome back, and you know what? Grab your honey jars and get ready for a smackerel, because today we are talking about Blood and Honey 2. And if you can't figure out the titular character of this movie is at this point, then I can't help you. You should not listen to this.
Long time, maybe not long time, but OG listeners will know that we covered the first one when it came out. A very interesting movie, to say the least. But it did have its own particular charm, and I think the rest of the world recognized that. And so now we're back to cover number two. Winnie the Pooh,
Blood and Honey took the movie market by storm. What was it? Was it last year? Was it 2022
yeah,
or
it was
23?
last year. Yeah, it was last year.
It was 23, yeah. Took it by storm. It was hot off the heels of the copyright for Pooh and Friends being released. Disney had no more stranglehold on it. We could make all the Pooh horror movies we want.
And boy, have we.
Yeah, and just you wait, because the same thing's going to happen with Mickey Mouse any month now.
It's already started to happen with the video
video game scene. Yeah.
We've talked about it. We want to do like a series of all the bad Mickey shit. The horror games.
Steamboat Willie.
Sure.
True, it's not Mickey.
Mickey. Steamboat Willie.
Steamboat Willie. But it's all we know.
It's the fucking mouse.
It's the mouse. It looks like
it's Michael Mouse.
Michael Mouse. Mickey is not short for Michael.
Yes, it is.
No, it is.
It's short for Michelangelo.
No way. You're shitting me. There's no way the turtles are down there in the sewer calling him Mickey.
I promise you that it's short for that.
All right, well, that I can't confirm or deny on the podcast at the moment, but it is probably going to eat at my brain until I do find that out later. For anybody who, I guess, wasn't familiar with Winnie the Pooh 1 or didn't listen to our episode, a little recap, I guess. So it's directed by Rice Frake Waterfield, and this is a strict, like, almost all UK production,
yes,
right?
Yep.
So you're going to see a lot of, I don't want to be mean, but like C tier, D tier, like UK actors. Like, we're never going to see fucking Pew in the Pooh-niverse, right? Like,
no, but they did, for this sequel, they definitely did have way more money to throw around, and they spent it on star power.
Did they?
Yes. We just don't know them because they're British actors. But apparently...
I was on IMDb. It still didn't look like they were in anything, but you listened to some interviews and stuff, so you might,
They allegedly, they pulled in some bigger names.
Well, there is a guy who plays the character of Cavendish, who I know is like kind of like a big, like he's in a bunch of those, like not Downton Abbey, but a lot of shows that are kind of like that,
Mm-hmm.
He has a very memorable face, so I knew I had seen
dramas.
him before. Yeah, exactly. But
the British slice of life anime.
That I would watch.
That's what Downton Abbey is.
I guess you're right, but you know what? Without the funny antics of an anime, you kind of there's. You know what? Honestly, I'd still watch Downton Abbey. That's pretty much right up me and Spooky Wife's alley. Like honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we're deep in Downton Abbey lore at some point down the road. Directed by Rice Frake Waterfield, who is returning. He's sort of like the guy. He's the thing that is driving this whole franchise forward. He's really into it. He said, Pooh is free. I'm taking it and I'm running as far as I can with it.
Well, I learned, actually, because in our first episode, we'd never heard of these fucking guys before. We didn't really know, like, where they came from or what was going on. But apparently, this is like this is their bread and butter. It's just that Pooh is like the biggest name they've got so far. Oh. They have a Humpty Dumpty series.
Do they?
Yeah, they have a bunch of those old like Grimm's fairy tale characters. They've been doing this for years.
Wow,
there's like
I had no idea.
A huge collection of their like I would say B tier, D tier.
Would you say there's sort of the maybe not a 1-for-1, but maybe kind of you could compare them to like a UK version of the Troma studio. They just have like a bunch of shit that's garbo.
I think it's more like Asylum.
Okay, I was trying to give them a little more credit. But...
Asylum kind of capitalizes on like search engines being terrible, right? Like with their off-brand naming. But like these guys are, I think.
They're capitalizing on known IPs.
Yes, known. Yes,
and so I guess they have their Grimm, their fairy tale one, but this is sort of separate because it's basically their Disney horror IP. All of the stuff that they've made and that they're making,
making
straight Disney stuff. And we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, so Bryce Frank Waterfield is the director. He's also one of the co-writers. The screenplay, actually, I think you'll find this interesting. The screenplay for this time around was written by a guy named Matt Leslie, who was the writer for Summer of '84, which is like you really like that movie.
Blew my mind. I heard that in an interview today with, I think it was actually with the guy who plays Christopher Robin.
Who is also going to be directing one of the other Pooh-niverse movies.
Yes, and was a creative element behind the first one as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's awesome that those guys were like, all right, we got to get better. Who do we get? A guy whose movie we really liked. Fuck a big name. They're like, this guy knows how to make a good, let's get that fucker.
And I will say, for anybody who remembers, or you might, honestly, if you didn't even listen to the original episode, or if you haven't seen the original movie, you probably can assume it's not very good.
It's quite bad.
It's very fun to watch with a group of people where you can all make fun of it, but it is bad. But they knew that that's what they were doing.
Honestly, that's kind of their whole thing now. After
bad, but good.
After listening to a lot of the I don't want to call it a red carpet. Maybe
a mauve carpet.
Maybe red cobblestone road. I don't know how they do it over there in the UK.
But those
their
red brick roads that they have.
Yeah, their premiere interviews with a lot of the cast and the writers. They were talking about how they're trying to make movies that are fun. They're they understand what they have now. They understand what they need to do. They're like, we're making popcorn fun movies. These movies aren't to fucking, scare you for the rest of your life and scar you forever. These movies aren't supposed to be big, artsy, fartsy, tentpole cinema experiences. These are just fun movies. So they have a property they can work with. Fun is the most repeated phrase I hear from these people.
Yeah, and it makes sense, and it's honestly super important because as much as you and I love our Ari Aster films, or for every artsy fartsy elevated horror movie, which we love, you also need to balance out the market with just some fun. I think the dumb fun horror movies are just as important.
Absolutely.
As we always praise, we always give such glowing reviews to some of the fancier, more artistic, if only they could get one Oscar bait horror movies, and those are good, but that I don't want it to seem like we're snobby. Obviously we love
we're schlockhounds. Are you kidding me?
We love every aspect of horror here, so it's nice to every once in a while shine a light on. And don't get us wrong, we're gonna shit on this movie, but that's what they want too. They want people to tear it up and have fun with it. That's kind of what they were going for. I will say that this one, though, now that they got this new screenwriter in, you can definitely tell that a different person wrote this, and it was they were given a budget for a better story overall.
Yes. Still
not fantastic, but you can see that somebody who has some movies under their belt kind of was like, I think I could piece this together given what I have to work from.
And honestly, he doesn't have that many writer credits.
No. Only a couple. And honestly, I think Summer of '84 is probably he's going to be the most notable one.
Yeah, definitely.
That was a good movie, too. I mean, that came out a while ago, I think before we started the podcast. So. Yeah. But if you guys have never seen Summer of '84, go check it out. I think Matt Leslie did a really good job writing that. But it is fun. Yeah, it's a good little kid horror adventure that gets, crazy dark at the end. Mm-hmm. And so, I guess that's going to lead us into the actual movie itself. Now, I want to front load. We're going to get right into the story and then we're going to talk about it a little like deeper at the end. But we're just going to go over the plot first. But I will front load it by saying, because this is there's a revelation. I struggle to call it a revelation, but you get confirmation at some point, like halfway through the movie, that the original movie is actually an in-universe film in this movie. So basically, Christopher Robin, the events of the first movie happened. Yes. And all that stuff happened to Christopher Robin. All a bunch of teen girls were murdered at an Airbnb and by Pooh and Piglet, and also like a bunch of retired greasers show up and they get killed.
The easiest way to ball it up is that the first movie is a dramatization of events that occurred,
that did happen,
to the main character, Christopher Robin, of this sequel.
Yeah, and so basically that essentially explains the recast of Christopher Robin.
Mm-hmm. The redesign of all the friends.
The redesign of all of the... And the reason why... Well, I mean, and kind of the reason why at first you go, well, didn't Piglet die in the first movie? Yeah. What's he doing here?
Yeah.
And why does everybody look different?
Yeah.
They do a nice... I think it's a pretty clever hand wave to be like, don't worry about that stuff. But instead of completely ignoring it, I did like that they tried a little to address it, and they're like, again, listen, mm-hmm. we're not that much of a monster here. Like, we understand. Like, you want an explanation.
I would put that towards their credit, though, of like, we now have the ability to make a much more professional movie. Mm-hmm. Let's do it the best we can. Let's just give him the most movie we can give him. But also versus going, let's just, hire some more people and make another, like, schlock.
Yeah. But it doesn't discredit the first movie. It's not like they're like, well, we have to forget that first bad one.
Yeah.
I do like that they went, it's still... That's important. Still counts.
Yeah.
You can just watch the movie that people in this movie were watching.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was fun. One thing I do have to say, though, also before we start, is Pooh, I think, in this movie, looks way worse.
Agreed.
That might be... other people might like it. I think the sort of rubbery mask design of the original one that was, like, very clearly, like, bright yellow... Mm-hmm. It really played off of his, like, red lumberjack sort of, like, flannel shirt very well.
I'm looking at both masks on your screen right now. He has eyebrows in the first one. Like
manicure.
Like
he went to one of those, like, threader ladies.
Yeah, like, slay. He's out there in the middle of the mall getting them shits right.
He had to go. He was like, tonight's going to be a big night for me. I'm finally going to show Christopher Robin what's what. And the lady was like, all right, I don't know what that means. It's going to be $29.99.
But yeah, so the choice to redesign Pooh,
I understand.
I get why they did it. I just don't think making the character more, like, furry and making it more, like, menacing and, like, animalistic in, like, a traditional sense, I think detracts from the character of Winnie the Pooh. Like, the first movie, that's a Winnie the Pooh in a horror movie. In this one, it's just like, that is a bear man who is only Pooh because he's yellow.
Because, and while I will say, he's much more yellow in the movie than in the trailers.
Yes.
In the trailers, I really thought, I was like, I can't tell if this is Pooh or Tigger. But in the movie, I didn't have any problem because they really amped up the yellow, like, color grading on him.
Yeah.
Which was cool. But I still think the original design, it's more Pooh-shaped. He's more of a rotund guy,
yes. Different actors, too.
Yes, different actors. And it's just, like, I have watched, I don't even know how many seasons of Face Off. I've seen the process of, like, what it takes to, like, put people in these costumes and these prosthetics and these makeups. But I've also seen, hours and hours of criticism about people's monster designs in movies, and I can tell you with, like, full faith that if you put both of these Pooh Bears up on there, the first movie's Pooh Bear is gonna win every time because it looks, like, unique. Yeah. It looks visually interesting. The new one, the bear, just, like, is just boring. It looks like somebody's, like, first time, I'm gonna make a bear guy. What's that gonna be like? The first one was a whole, I don't know. I think it looked so much more special and interesting the first time around.
The way I'm looking at him is like the way people talk about John Wayne Gacy's, like, clown makeup. They're like, he specifically designed it to be pointy and go against the rules of how clown makeup's supposed to be designed. And, like, that's how I feel about the first one. And then the new one is like, that's just your clown.
It's just a regular old bear.
Like, their mouths are shaped differently. Like, they have different, like, inherent expressions, like, within the masks and stuff. And I just think the kind of, like, happy-go-lucky, gross, drooly one is, like, a way better pick.
It was clear. The first one was clearly a mask, but that was not the part of the movie that I thought was bad.
Yeah, that wasn't the part where I was like, oh, well, my immersion's destroyed.
Yeah, there's a lot of other things that ruined that movie in different ways that weren't the mask. I don't know. But that's, as far as complaints go, that's the biggest one I have. For the most part, everything else I can kind of hand wave, and we'll get to it as we go. So should I?
Yeah, let's run down the summary. If you haven't seen Blood and Honey 2, well, you're probably gonna have to wait.
Able to, yeah. It was only airing. It was only like playing on certain screens for like a very small amount of time. It was a Fathom event, so. Yeah. Difficult to find, probably.
This is the perfect reason why you should be part of the Discord, because we are updating people. You would have known months ahead where you could have seen this thing, because I've been glued to the fucking media about this since.
Yeah, I had daily updates about this movie for quite some time. So Pooh 2 opens up with a lovely quote that I absolutely cannot remember, from A.A. Milne, the original author of Winnie the Pooh. It was delightful. Don't know what it was.
It was on screen for like 0.5 seconds.
Yeah, and then there was another like Ernest Hemingway quote, which I also don't remember. The double quotes open up this movie, which is really
Too many
bold.
Quotes. Too many quotes.
So yeah, we get a quote from A.A. Milne we are shown a storybook sequence detailing the events of the first film and the fallout, namely how the entire town either now hates Christopher Robin and thinks he killed a bunch of teen girls last year, or they believe him and spend their days hunting for Pooh in the woods as if they have nothing else to do.
As one would.
It's winter now, and Dr. Robin, because he was a doctor, we learned he was like in medical school or something, or had just like graduated in the first movie. But now he spends his day tending to children, tending to the children's ward at the local hospital. Next, and this is like all rapid fire, because it's about storybook stuff, and then we meet Christopher Robin, he's in the hospital. Next, we are back into the woods for a girls' night where a trailer full of ladies is beset upon. Yeah, this movie starts off like instantly. It's hot off the press. We're killing stuff.
Yeah.
So we get a trailer full of ladies is beset upon by our furry friends in bizarrely quick fashion, as if directly telling us that this movie's body count's going to be high. These people are dead now. You don't even know how many people we're going to kill.
Yeah, we've killed as many people in the first like 10 minutes of this movie as we killed in the entire
whole
last
first movie. Yeah, exactly.
It's a classic sequel move.
Yes.
Gotta love it.
You have to up the ante immediately. That it is pretty par for the course as far as slasher sequels. Pooh and Piglet give a girl an amateur tracheotomy. They light the trailer on fire, toss it into the lake with Pooh's like ursine bear strength. They melt another woman to the point where I couldn't even tell what was going on makeup-wise. I was like, this is not reading as anything to me. This woman's just like got blob makeup on.
This is a vision of pain and flesh.
And then they break most of the bones in the final lady's body, and then end it with the first of many kills with Pooh's new signature weapon, the bear trap on a chain. He's got a new tool, and he loves to use it.
Love it.
Big old bear trap on a chain that he's swanging around this movie.
Here's one thing, though, I will say. The more aggressive sequel Pooh, I think the bear trap works with him perfectly.
Yes.
I can't see the Pooh from the first one clumsily, slowly swinging around a bear trap.
True. But you know what he did do in the first movie? Is he very calmly and psychically sent armies of bees to assault people.
I do miss the bees.
Which we don't get psychic bees in this movie, unfortunately.
Our loss.
It is our loss. It's a fair trade, I'd say, because we get some good bear trap kills.
The bear trap does go hard as fuck.
The next day, Christopher Robin is in therapy, dealing with his double dose of trauma as he's reeling from the 100-acre wood massacre from last year, but he's also dealing with repressed memories of his brother and friends who were kidnapped in front of his eyes when he was a child. On his way back home, Christopher talks to Lexi, a friend of his, one of the only people in this town that still acts normal around him. Upon arriving home, he finds that someone has vandalized his father's car.
Again.
Yeah, again. People keep, spray painting murderer all over his stuff because the group of people who think that there's no way a bear and a pig ran through the woods killing a bunch of teen girls. So immediately, I would say it is, you can feel the strength of like a better writer here, because the world already feels like instantly way more lived in and actualized. Just the mention, honestly, of other people, kind of did it.
Setting it in the town too is the obvious can opener really for the whole movie. Like putting it in an environment where other people have to like either react to or deal with the reality of these fucking animal monster hybrid people, and Christopher Robin in the middle of it. Like, that was the move to make.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a good step up from the original. You know, again, a sequel, you gotta increase in scope in like all directions. You gotta move out in every way possible. So back at home, we meet Mommy Robin and Daddy Robin and Sister Robin, although Sister Robin likes to be called Bunny. And I was like, Rabbit?
Rabbit?
Because Rabbit's not in this movie, as far as we haven't seen Rabbit. Wasn't in the first movie, wasn't in the second one. Are we going to get creepy Sister Rabbit in the third one? Who knows? You'll find out if she even survives this movie. So Sister Robin likes to be called Bunny. The only thing of note here, I think, in the scene is that we find out that it's like a Chekhov's dishwasher, because fucking the mom realizes, she goes, oh darn, she did it again. And apparently Bunny likes to load all like 80 of their steak knives into the dishwasher pointed up, which really, really gave me like the because I've actually like stabbed myself with a fork before, like reaching into the dishwasher. I can't, it just was like, oh no,
sucks.
I don't want to think about it. But it's seriously,
it really is.
It's one of those moments in a horror movie where it's like the nail in Quiet Place.
Yeah.
Where you are, where they show you so early this thing, and you spend the next 45 minutes being like, I can't pay attention to this movie because I'm thinking about that fucking dishwasher.
We also find out about his brother here, right? They talk about Bunny not going into his brother's room.
Yes, because the sister is making a teddy bear. She's like sewing a teddy. She's sewing like teeth and gross stuff onto a teddy bear that was their brother's. Who Christopher Robin is just recently like realizing that or coming to terms with that he was kidnapped earlier. I don't really know how the timeline of all of these kids work. Is Bunny like adopted, because she's so young and his parents are like pretty old and he's also like a full adult?
I think that level of
too much thinking.
We're having fun. We're having fun at the movie. We loaded all of the knives in the dishwasher pointy side up.
But yeah, so we do find out that they don't want people going into the little brother's room, but she snuck in and took the teddy bear so she can make sort of a totem that would protect them from the monster people.
Yes, because she is aware.
She
believes that the monster people are out there because she believes her big brother.
Yeah. Later, back in the 100-acre wood, inside the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, Pooh is... This is really funny because you open up, you get into Pooh's little house, and you get this shot of him, and he seriously looks, with his like red flannel on, and he's sitting on this big chair. He looks like John Goodman in Roseanne. He's just like, oh, Roseanne! There's hunters in the 100-acre wood again! While in the house, Owl gives a big speech. I do have to also say, Owl, my favorite part of this movie. Going in, I was hoping for a good bird person monster, and man, did I get it.
Oh, boy.
I was worried that Tigger was going to be the highlight, was going to be the focus. Everyone was going to be like, oh, because the reason why Tigger wasn't in the first movie was because Tigger, for whatever reason, was not in public domain until a year after.
Yeah.
So they couldn't have him in the movie until this one.
Tigger appears in the licensed property that Disney owned, had rights to,
so
the year after Pooh was invented.
Right.
So like when they started to expand that story into like other characters and stuff, that's when Tigger came along. He wasn't part of the initial crew.
Interesting. But yeah, and also Tigger, I would say, is sort of like a fan favorite
Yeah.
I think when we're kids, like, everybody likes Tigger the most, right? He's the goofiest, he's the most fun. So I thought he was going to sort of overshadow everybody else in this movie, and he really doesn't. They did a very good job balancing everything, I will say.
I'd say they keep that cat in the bag until, like, the very last act, really.
Yeah, he's like Foxy from Five Nights.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, oh, we're going to tease Tigger, but you ain't going to see him yet. So we get a lot of good owl stuff, which I was very happy about. But now in the Pooh clubhouse, Owl's giving a big speech about how they need to take the fight to the town. The hunters aren't going to stop. Humans stink. Everybody sucks. We need to kill them all. And there's pretty much, I don't think anybody disagrees. The people watching the movie don't disagree, and the animals are like, yeah, those people suck. Let's go.
Yeah, that's fair. That makes sense.
He gives a very impassioned speech that I think he, like, probably built up to. He was, like, psyching himself up earlier that day when he really didn't need to. He could have just been like, you guys want to go kill everybody? And I don't think anybody would have disagreed with him.
No. We get to see the new piglet.
The new piglet, tuskless.
The mistake.
So we see, and we get, like, a hint of Tigger. They even keep him behind. He's like double prisoner, right? Like he was already suffered like all the rest of the animals. But then they also just keep him in jail, which is like crazy.
Well, he's a tiger. They got a pig guy running around.
He's a bear. If the bear can control himself. All right, yeah, so Pooh agrees we must kill the town. And the group sets out to pester the poachers that are in the woods. However, during the attack, the hunters are able to remove Piglet's face. And remove it just in time for me to realize in the movie that he did not have tusks. I was like, he doesn't have tusks, and then his whole face was blown off. And I was like, guess it doesn't matter.
It's like, oh, unimportant,
irrelevant. And I went, Piglet's dead right away. I was like, is Piglet gonna die? Is he Kenny? Is he gonna die in every single movie?
I just love that they were like, you know what, we definitely got to redesign Piglet for the 3 minutes of on-screen time he has before we murder him.
Right, they could have left him dead.
Yeah.
And we would have remembered from the first movie.
Especially because they're like, these events of the first movie happened. This is just a dramatization. It's like, you could have just explained away Piglet, but they're like, nah, we got to get him in here again.
But we do get an explanation later for that. The next day, Robin is fired from the hospital job because the English just like cannot handle a scandal.
No,
right? If a scandal happens, it all shit. Fucking the ropes are gone. All bets are off. Chaos ensues if a scandal, even the most minor of scandal. And I've watched a lot of British TV, so I understand how the culture works. As he's leaving the hospital because he no longer works there, the sole survivor from the previous night is brought in. Meanwhile, Owl gives a father and son the Kathleen Peterson treatment.
Oh, no. Jeez.
Later, Christopher Robin goes back to therapy where his doctor puts him in the sunken place, and he finally realizes that Pooh was kind of always evil, even when they were kids.
Yeah, they're like peeling away the onion of Christopher Robin's brain, and they're like, just really think hard. Think hard about what you saw and what you remember. And then he's like realizing like Pooh as like this emaciated child mutant was like eating blood and guts in the garden.
Yeah, the first movie, and I will say, this kind of detracts. This movie sort of detracts from what I thought was interesting about the first movie's idea. In the first movie, the reason why Pooh and everybody were so like murderous, specifically towards Christopher Robin, is because like he would go take care of them and feed them.
Yeah,
and then he was like, "Oh, gotta go to med school," and then like left because he was grown up. And then they became they starved to death, or they starved. They became feral. They ate Eeyore, their other friend. You know, they essentially cannibalism. I mean, if you're like an animal hybrid person, it still counts as cannibalism because even if the bear's eating the donkey.
Look, if even if they're cross species,
they're still part human.
So
so they
and
go
they all
cannibalistic.
live together. If you eat someone
that you live
who
with,
lives in the cave that you live in, cannibalism,
and can talk to you and is really sad all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the first movie, the reason why they were so angry, they were hateful because they felt abandoned, and they were like, "Well, fuck humans, then we're gonna eat them all and kill them." They kind of changed that in this one, and it starts off here, yes, where, and I'm not lying, it really is a sunken place scene. That therapist puts him right into, he might as well just go like, boo, and like fall into this big black abyss. But yeah, he does realize that, when they were kids, Pooh was just being he looked evil all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, and funny fact, the kid who plays Kid Pooh in this movie was the possessed son from Pope's Exorcist.
Love that motherfucker's getting a paycheck.
Look
Good
at
for
that.
him.
He's coming back, and also we love anytime we can do a weird 6 degrees of separation from like any of our other movies and episodes. So we got another connection there.
Wow.
Back to the Pope.
He got taller. Good for him.
He did. Well, he's, you know what? As children do.
Growing boy.
They do. They grow. Pooh, for whatever reason, turns out was always kind of gross and evil. Like really mean looking. Like, why would you hang out with that guy?
No.
Because in the movie, even though he's clearly evil, like Christopher Robin still spent his whole childhood hanging out with these monsters.
I don't understand how his parents never saw Pooh either.
Like, oh son, where do you go all day?
It
just in the woods with a bunch of animals.
It would be like if your kid brought home Hey Arnold, like a real football-headed kid, and you're like, "Whoa, what's going on here?"
Maybe they just never asked questions. They said, "Oh, he's special.
He has jaundice, honey.
That's why he's so yellow.
He has the Caillou disease."
Turns out Pooh Bear would be brown, but he's got like a really aggressive liver problem. It's all the botulism from the honey.
I didn't know honey could get botulism.
Yeah, that's why you're not supposed to give honey to babies.
Oh my god.
Yeah, because like if you like enough honey can have like trace amounts of botulin in it, and there you go.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it ever really happens that often that like you find a baby paralyzed because he had like a spoonful of honey, but you're just on the off chance you're not supposed to. Yeah. But yeah, honey definitely has.
It'd be a weird thing to gamble on.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's just not. With the babies.
Let's
just leave it. Leave it alone.
He'll be fine. We'll wait till he's 10.
Till he's 10?
Weird thing to gamble on.
All right. After therapy, driving home, Chris calls Lexi and tells her all about his newly discovered memories. While she's babysitting like a walking, talking horror movie convention, she's babysitting this kid who like was running around the house with a machete, a Jason mask, a Freddy Krueger sweatshirt,
pretend knife glove,
and not like a Freddy Krueger like a shirt that says Freddy Krueger, like the red and green striped sweater. Yeah, and the glove and the machete in one hand, and he's got horror movies on in the background, and he's like, ah.
Well, here's the thing: he's watching the first movie.
Yes, this is where we get the confirmation,
which is amazing because they added "It's Morbin time" joke in the middle of this fucking movie.
Yeah,
there's a shot of the TV. The kid is watching the movie version of the first actual Blood and Honey movie.
Yeah, except in this movie they call it Honey and Blood. They reversed the title just to be fucking assholes.
But there's a shot of the TV where Pooh is there, and he says, "It's Pooh-in time."
And then he like gets lightning.
Yeah,
that goes,
fucking
like,
purple lightning shoots out from his chest, and I looked at Matt in the theater. I was like, "Was that a Morbius time joke?
Was that a Morbius joke? Like how long ago did Morbius come out?"
It's just so funny for this movie to be like, "Hey, at least we can all laugh about the Morbius movie,
also,
right?" Like, hey, don't throw stones from your glass house, there, guys.
Yeah, right. Like you couldn't even begin to dream to afford Jared Leto. So calm yourself. Also, just the friendly reminder every once in a while that Pooh's name is Pooh.
Yeah, it's
Pooh in time. You know, like sometimes you forget because you hear it so much, or we've been so culturally assaulted with the bear.
Good PR team because everybody knows Winnie is the Pooh. If you say the Pooh, people go.
In fact, I will only call this movie Pooh 2.
Pooh 2?
Pooh 2.
Pooh 2, son of Pooh.
Pooh 2.
It's Pooh in time.
It's Pooh in time was really, really funny.
Holy shit.
Let's see. So, yeah, we see Lexi. She's hanging out, babysitting this cool horror movie kid. All the while, the local police stumble upon Pooh's treehouse, and Tigger goes ACAB on the Bobbies off-screen. Almost all off-screen kills, except I think we get one shot of, like, Tigger hand coming out of a chest. But otherwise, all off-screen. Next, we have, like, the obligatory Google search scene from, I think... Not that, like, all movies that have a scene like this are bad, but every bad horror movie has like, a scene where the character's like, I gotta go to Google and figure out how to solve my ghost problem.
But it's never Google. It's always like,
it's always
look 'em ups.
Honestly, look them up. I don't remember what this one was, but it didn't even look like somebody designed a web search bar. It was like someone just... It looked like Christopher Robin was typing into MS Paint. He was like, MS Paint, can you tell me about the history of my town? Yeah, and so during this this Google search scene, we get a little bit of teaser about Bambi, because there's a newspaper clipping about a mutant deer attacking people in the woods. And this is where we also find out that in the town there used to be a local genetic scientist, as you know.
Your typical boy from Brazil.
I mean, I guess they have to live somewhere, right? Genetic scientists have to just live in towns with people.
Do we think this guy's got Nazi connections? How many young burgeoning genetic scientists are out here in Europe performing new terrors? I
don't know. I don't think the movie thinks that deeply into it, but we could retcon it in 3. There's always the chance for Nazis to show up. Mm. Just like life in America.
and life in England.
Yeah, well, thought we got rid of him. But yeah, so Christopher Robin encounters a article about a local genetic scientist whose house burned down right around the time his friends and his brother were kidnapped when they were children.
Coincidence?
Yes, and because this movie has just like a weird sense of pace, Christopher Robin keeps like learning things, and there's clearly monsters around, but everyone's just like kind of going about their business until they're murdered.
Yeah.
Nothing stops just day to day.
No,
Chris keeps going to work, keeps going to therapy. Everyone keeps going, doing what they're going to do. And then, people get murdered. Really, it seems like the cops are the only ones who are like, we got to do something.
There's like no curfew.
No, everyone's just out and about. So the next day, Robin meets up with Lexi at the staging of a rave that their mutual friend is throwing. But because nobody likes Christopher Robin, she kicks him out of the rave. Says, you can't even be here when we're setting up.
People are going to think it's a bummer.
Yeah, it's going to think you bump everyone out, Chris.
We're having an 100-person rave.
Yeah,
which
100
is like
acre rave over here.
So embarrassing. 100 people is like nothing.
Oh yeah, so that's the weird. This is where the pacing of the movie is pointed out to me. That's weird because Christopher Robin is just at this rave, and presumably he's going to be there to help set up for hours, right? He's just going to be there. Mm-hmm. But then he gets kicked out and goes, oh, I guess I'll go move the plot forward. So instead he goes back to the hospital where he goes to question the victim of this new 100-acre massacre where all the hunters were killed. And it was Christopher Robin did know him. I just forget the character's name. It was like Travis or...
Yeah, he sees him get wheeled in the beginning when he's like getting fired from the hospital, and he's like, oh, that's my friend, so-and-so from...
Yeah, so he...
Uni!
So he visits from Uni, yes.
From Uni! I was like, what is it?
So the friend removes his face wrap to reveal Tigger's handiwork, and again, crazy prosthetics here. There's more... He honestly... It's crazy to look at because he has so much more face now than he used to. Somehow getting like tiger clawed to near death added flesh to him.
I thought he got shotgunned by Pooh.
No, he got he like ran away. I think. Oh no, maybe he did get shotgunned.
I think this guy got shotgunned by Pooh.
Either way,
but the way they patched him up, did not make sense.
He's got extra face now. And so while he's there,
he's 3-face.
Yeah, he's 3-face now. While he's there, Robin spots a strange man spying on them. And then he has a Jimmy Neutron-style brain blast that reveals that this man was the kidnapper. It's like you see a shot from earlier where Christopher Robin can't remember the guy's face. So you see this van with all these kids in it. And he's like, and then he looks up at the driver and the driver's face is blurred out. And then we go right back to that exact shot. And then the face just sort of like does like a wipe or it goes... Whip. And then, oh, I remember, that's the guy!
It's like you wipe the steam off the mirror and you're like, oh, that's what he looks like.
So now Christopher Robin, he's on the move. Elsewhere, though, Finn, another friend of Christopher Robin's, who's like the only other guy that is nice to him in this movie, is showering with earbuds in, which I thought was wild.
Can you do that with AirPods? I don't have AirPods.
I don't know how waterproof they are, but this dude's got... It's almost like he is filming the commercial where they show you how waterproof... You can shower with them. And everyone's like, well, I wouldn't do that because that's crazy, but I guess cool.
Maybe it was a product placement.
Honestly,
because it was pretty blatantly like, oh, this guy's got earbuds in the shower. That's how he doesn't hear them coming in.
yeah, it's a weird device because generally I assume in a horror movie that the shower is loud enough that you don't hear people sneaking around. You know, you don't need the added deafness of having earbuds in plus being in the shower.
Have you ever been alone though in your apartment or house and like you're in the shower and you hear what sounds like a definite thing in your house? It is a little fucking terrifying.
Yeah, but this guy's house is also big enough that I don't think it would be a problem. But either way, yeah, fucking earbuds in the shower aside, he can't hear Owl sneaking around his house. Owl, you know, there's a bit of a cat and mouse sneak around the house, jump scare kind of sequence where Owl then displays his acid puke power.
Oh, it's so good. He starts retching up this fucking, what do they call them? The owl vomit balls. I got like...
Is there a name? There is a name for it. I forget what it's called. Well,
I got like
I don't know.
15 of them in the garage that Danny sent me for Christmas.
Disgusting. But also awesome. But yeah, so Owl has... It's almost like like the alien, like the xenomorph. He's got this puke that just instantly like starts melt. He grabs Finn, pukes on his face. It starts melting instantly, and then he gives him the Mo Larry Curly, and Finn goes bloop, and like pokes him in the eyes, and then rips both the eyes out.
Yeah, he's got these big long feather fingers, and they're like so sharp. He just rams them right into the dude's head.
It's so good. It was at that time where I was like, man, I'm so happy that I get to see Owl kill so many people.
He's flying around all over the place.
Dude, he's like a Spider-Man villain. He's all over the place.
He is.
He's crazy. I loved it. I was so happy that we got all these fun Owl Birdman kills.
The actor, I put a lot into it. That motherfucker, I was watching his interviews on the premiere night, and he is quite a character.
Yeah, I was listening like to some of those interviews in the background. That guy was wild. He enjoyed his time as the
guy brought a lot of philosophy to the role.
And yeah, so actually, let me just real quick. So we have Ryan Oliver is the stuntman who plays Pooh.
Okay.
I assume that if he was American, his last name would be Oliver, but he's
okay.
British, so it's Oliver.
Oliver.
We have Louis Santerre as Tigger, and it's funny because when I was on IMDb, it was like they have the section where it's like, this is what he's known for.
Yeah.
And apparently the guy who played Tigger is known for being in Pooh-niverse, which has not come out yet.
No, he said in an interview that I was watching with some like random YouTube channel that he was like, yeah, I essentially finished up art school, and learning how to be an actor, and then I got this role, so it was pretty great.
Eddie McKenzie as Piglet and Dr. Gallup. Dr. Gallup is the genetic scientist.
Oh, so we are going to see him again. Good.
And then we have Marcus Massey as Owl, who, again, very interesting fellow. He is known for a Finnish movie called Bunny the Killer Thing, where he played a giant bunny monster. So being like a killer animal person, he's already done. So he was geared up for it.
He was ready. It
shows because he knew exactly what this movie needed out of him.
He was saying a lot of his character was just like we were talking about with Leprechaun, just informed by the costume, because like he had all these like crazy Birdman prosthetics on his face that would take so long to put on, and then he would be stuck in it for hours on end, that he was like, by the time I was shooting my scenes, I didn't have to figure out how to be like an angry little owl man, because I felt like an angry little owl man. My nose was full of like mucus from being clogged up by these things for hours on end. I was like, bro, congrats, kudos, because you really put it into the performance.
It's true. He's great. I love him. He's my favorite part. Later, Robin stalks the man who we come to learn his name is Cavendish, as I said earlier. So This is Cavendish. So Robin stalks Cavendish back home and breaks into his house and interrogates him. The man reveals that he's guilty. He's been guilty all this time from that fateful day where he kidnapped all those kids. That he tells Robin that he was paid to bring the children to Dr. Gallup, the local genetic scientist, who then would experiment on them and then merge their DNA with animal DNA, creating these monster hybrids.
It's not how DNA works.
It's not, but whatever. However, he does deem them a failure and kills them. Kills all the kids.
Yeah, I'd say failure.
Yeah, he kills all the kids and then tells Cavendish to bury them. And Cavendish takes him to the 100-acre wood and buries them there. Then he returns and just being fraught with guilt, returns to Dr. Gallup's home and kills him and then burns his house down. And so that's the source of the arson that we saw in the article earlier. Now, this whole scene goes on so long. This guy has essentially a monologue. This long explanation of the history of this movie where we find out that all of these animals were kids. In fact, Pooh is Christopher Robin's brother. So even more of a connection. And all these kids were his friends. So this is where what I was saying earlier, how it kind of, this movie takes away a little bit of I thought it was a lot cleaner when it was just, he fed these animal creatures and then he abandoned them and that's why they were mad. But now they're just sort of mad because, like, he didn't save them when he was a child from being abducted and experimented on. Even though, like, what was he gonna do?
I think he holds that against them, but I think what they hold against him most is that he then abandoned them to go to school. But
also, it's weird that, like, they never explained, like, oh, hey, it's us, Jimmy and Cindy, and, you know, like, we're your friends, but no one ever, like, they never explained it to them.
They don't even realize that. Pooh doesn't even realize that until, like, near the end of the movie. That he was a different guy.
I don't know. It's a little murky. But whatever.
We're here for fun.
But whatever. We're here for fun, so who gives a shit? That's essentially where, like, my, like, brain was like, I should... Nah. Whatever.
Oh, here's a fracture in the plot. Let me drill down. Oh, there's nothing.
God
there was nothing.
And so... But then, Christopher Robin, after all of this revelation, he is... a little too slow to react and is unable to stop Cavendish from putting the gun in mouth, pulling the trigger. Cavendish kills himself, and there goes probably the best actor in the movie.
Easily the best actor in the movie. That's the guy that, like,
in and out.
Everyone who was interviewed was like, yeah, they had this guy on set. The guy that, he met him in Jekyll and Hyde. He was really good, yeah.
Yeah, he's probably one of the most notable actors for...
I will though.
He was good.
I don't think there was anybody in this movie who I was like, well, that one was just as bad as the first. I feel like every actor on screen was at least giving a significantly better performance.
Oh no, everybody in this movie is an actor.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody in the first one was an actor.
No.
Maybe some of those, like, stuntmen, like, garage guys.
Perhaps.
But yeah, all those teen girls get killed. There was, like, zero effort put in from them.
The owl dude was in the first one, but he played one of those guys that got killed at the very end.
Yeah, there's a lot of like intermingling and changing of roles and recasting and stuff. They like, it's like Netflix, you know. You're like watching one show and you're like, oh, the whole cast from that show's in this one too. Cause
like, oh, Vanessa Hudgens is in a lot of these.
She's in a lot of his movies. Listen, if we could get a Vanessa Hudgens Netflix verse episode going, because I think it's
we got to start a whole different podcast.
I think it's horrifying. I think it counts.
Oh, jeez. Maybe let's get into it on the stream one day.
Yeah, for
that feels extreme
around
material.
The holidays. We'll get into it. Anyway, after that, Pooh kills some more police, and now everyone is kind of starting to believe. Everyone's like, oh, there's a lot of animal guys killing people. Maybe Christopher Robin wasn't such an asshole. Too little, too late, England.
Yeah.
Countryside town.
The 4 cops who work here.
Yeah, everyone's starting to believe that maybe Christopher Robin wasn't lying. Pooh then returns home, and they say you can never come home. But when you're Pooh, you can.
Pooh goes right home.
He goes right home. Apparently, at long last, because it's like, does he remember before? Is he going there because he's looking for Christopher Robin? Or is he going there because he used to live there? Does he remember? Does he not? I couldn't really tell.
We don't really get a resolution to that, but I think it's because he's looking for Christopher Robin.
Yeah, either way, he kills Daddy Robin off screen, but then kills Mommy Robin on screen, paying off that dishwasher tease from earlier because Mom's sneaking around in the most pitch black set I have seen ever. It's so dark you can't fucking see anything, and then Mom gets jump scared by Pooh, who opens up the dishwasher, and just, you get a really gross... It's like, what's that one movie that's really famous for having the eyeball stab scene?
Oh, fuck. I just watched that a couple months ago, too. Oh, where it's like really close and it's like
and you
really
see
slow
you see
and
the whole thing and it squirts out.
Fuck.
Honestly, this movie's pretty close to that because you get a good eyeball liquid squoosh, you know. So if you're into eye stuff,
it's great because he like pushes her head down into the fucking
and
silverware.
She comes up.
Yeah, she pulls her back up and she's got a bunch of knives sticking out her face. She's like, ah!
And it's like, why do you have so many knives in your house? You don't need that many. They have like a million, you know, like I have a knife rack in the kitchen right now. And there's a decent amount of knives there, but they're like varying shapes and sizes. This is just all giant butcher knives.
Yeah. I don't care because it makes this kill so fun.
It is very funny. Yeah, so Mommy Robin's dead. Christopher arrives home to find his parents dead, and his sister Bunny has been kidnapped, not killed. Pooh sort of does a Pooh nap. He does a sort of like moment where he goes into his old bedroom and he's like, "Oh, I remember when I was a kid."
They do the thing where like he's looking at a photo of his childhood self, and then like the lightning strikes and the glare causes his reflection.
He jump scares himself. Christopher Robin does set off on the hunt for his sister, but first we have a rave to get to. Basically, the only reason I can imagine, like, it's you can see the cookie cutter, like, put the puzzle pieces of how do I make a scary movie? Because the only reason Christopher Robin would have been at that rave to help out, even though he gets kicked out 2 seconds later, is because we have to establish that set so we can come back to it later.
Yeah, essentially the entire rave like subplot and
completely
like him being isolated,
unrelated,
useless, other than the fact that it gives us the opportunity to set our animals upon these ravers.
And honestly, I'll take it because it's awesome.
It's kind of cool because you get the initial attack where like Owl kind of swoops in and tells Pooh, is like, it's time for you and Tigger to have fun too.
Yeah, and then he flies away.
He flies off, and then Pooh goes just fucking ape shit on these people. He shoves a fucking shotgun through that guy's head.
Yeah, so basically the rave's popping, right? All 100 people are dancing. And they have these like plastic like tarp things that are like dangling, and you can see all the lights like going through it. And then Pooh like stomps into the scene, and everyone's like, "What the fuck is that?" And then he has his trusty weapon, his bear trap chain, and he does this crazy. He kicks off the whole murder spree with this crazy move where he does this like he whips around the chain, he's spinning it, and he launches it at this one rave chick who's like running away from him. And the bear trap hits her, it clamps around her head, and then he pulls it back, and her head completely detaches, goes flying through the air, and then suddenly he has a baseball bat. Yeah, and he does a fucking home run swing, and just kills that lady. And then everything just it's chaos out. Everyone starts screaming, and there's a stampede. Everyone's running.
It's pretty great. It's one of, I'd say, like 10 straight up decapitations. He's pulling heads off left and right. It's amazing.
Yeah, the only problem I have with all the decapitations is they like can't stop using the CGI blood drips.
Yeah,
and it's like honestly, your movie would be like so much higher on my scale if you just used like more practical blood. You already have so much blood on scene. It's not like they don't use any.
Here's what's fucked up: when they do tear it up in this this rave, and then there's a shot later on where is it Christopher Robin? Does he show up?
He shows back up to the rave.
He gets to the rave.
We have to because we only have 4 sets.
Yeah. Well, all these people are dead on the dance floor now. But they all look like they just kind of like laid down flat on their stomach or on their back. And there's like no gore on them at all. And I'm supposed to believe they're all like completely dead. But it looks like you just walked into a dance hall and you're like, all right, now everybody lay down.
Yeah, and so chaos just ensues here. We get a myriad of different kills, all pretty good, I would say. Aside from the CGI blood, that's the only stuff that's CGI. All of the kills are like practical stuff, which is what made me extra frustrated with the blood being so heavily.
I'm telling you, the blood budget, either the practical effects doing them costs so much or the cleanup costs so much. It's the only reason why I could think that this production specifically wouldn't use it, because they use it in other spots.
Yeah.
To good effect.
Yeah, maybe because there's so much going on in so many people.
Yeah, it could be a time constraint thing where they're like, hey, we have X amount of times to film in this location. We don't have time to do a big blood splatter and then clean everything up. Or it could be part of the, negotiation with the location that, like, hey, you're not going to throw a bunch of fucking gore all over the place. This is a workplace.
Yeah, I mean, either way, though, I do agree with you, because I believe that a significant portion of the movie's budget went to this rave murder scene, because Pooh and Tigger kill, like, dozens of ravers.
And you know what? I take back my entire argument, because, like, 2 minutes later, within the same location, they have Tigger, who is, like, got this lady on a grate above him, and he's like using his sharp claws to stab up
these little holes, and he's going,
yeah, and all the blood is raining down on him. It's all practical blood.
Yeah, so here's where we kind of this scene is where we get Tigger is unleashed now.
Yes.
And we get Tigger in full force. He is he's doing like a real Freddy Krueger sort of impersonation. Not that it's like a direct ripoff, but I don't know. There's a point where he's like, he's chasing a girl across like a catwalk thing, and he's like, "Come here, bitch!" And I'm like, "Oh, we're doing that."
He dropped like 4 or 5 hard bitches.
Yeah.
But the actor in like I think 3 or 4 different interviews that I saw him in, the guy who plays Tigger, was pretty transparent. He's like, yeah, like I huge inspiration Freddy and Pennywise. Like I just wanted to wrap them up into Tigger and bring it to the screen. Like, I really don't think there's anything else he needs. I was like, well, you definitely brought Freddy.
You for sure brought Freddy. And I will say, Tigger's pretty good. I just am not a big fan of his makeup work. I think it's too muddy, and the sculpt on his facial prosthetics are a little too unclear, to the point where you can't really tell what's going on with his face. I think if they did the same treatment to him, they gave Pooh like a big boost in the yellow, after the fact. I think if they could have done that, like make him more orange,
yeah,
because it's only in like one shot where there's like a lot of light on him where you can see his like tiger.
Well, it's hard too because he's like in a gray like jumper, like not like a jumper.
It's like a burnt orange jumper. It's like a prison garb.
But the way it's lit, it always looks like off-white or gray. And it just doesn't... I just don't think the color pops.
It looks like the same color as him a lot of the time. It just is all very flat. It's my only complaint, really, and it's not that bad.
I think what he's missing is his mane. You know what I mean? Not that Tigger has a mane, but like I think if you gave this version of Tigger like a little bit more
fur,
some fur on the sideburns and around the jawline, it would have popped him visually a little bit more.
He's got some good tail action.
Yeah, I just think the head sculpt is too close to Pooh's.
I agree. They do look very similar because of how narrow and humanoid they made Pooh's face.
Yeah,
it also. Him and Tigger look way too similar, especially because they're in this scene like together, and you're cutting back and forth between like Pooh doing stuff, Tigger doing stuff, and when you're up close, you're like, I don't know who that is.
Yeah, I think with the original Pooh mask, you had enough distinction between the two.
Also, the Pooh shape in this movie, Pooh is like, he's like swole, dude. He's got big chest, big arms.
Yeah,
and Tigger's also kind of that way. In the original movie, like Pooh was more bottom heavy.
They tried to make it
shape
look
language would have read better.
Yeah, they try to make it look like Pooh has a bit of a gut on him, but like honestly,
he's also got broad shoulders.
He's so broad that I don't think it reads. It looks a lot of the time like he's got like a pillow in his shirt.
Yeah, but all that being said, this rave scene is really good. I would say that justifiably they spent a lot of money on it, and it shows. There's a lot of really good kills that I think dozens and dozens of ravers die, and a lot of them on screen. I can't even count like all the different deaths. They're all really good.
He locks one chick in a furnace and then turns on the furnace. That one's fun.
Yeah, he Pooh power drills one girl's like head is really cool. He does a lot of his signature bear slap moves on people. Mm-hmm. Tigger does like this crazy. He pins this girl to a wall and does this insane, like, Naruto, like, death by 1,000 cuts where he's like, and honestly, the scene goes on way too long because Tigger's like, and he's like clawing and clawing and clawing, and you're like, okay, he's gonna stop soon. And he's clawing and clawing, and blood's going everywhere, and he keeps clawing and clawing, and they're like, oh, when was this has to end?
He essentially dug a hole through this woman.
But it's all super, super fun. Really good scene. Christopher Robin shows up because he has to. I guess he assumes Bunny is with Pooh, even though, like, she's not. You never see this little girl in this rave scene. So, I don't know.
We have no clue. I have to assume she's with Owl.
I know, because Owl at this point is actually chasing Lexi through the woods. Because she's driving around for whatever reason in the woods. Not really a lot of clear motives for why people are going where in this movie. There is a fun scene where Christopher Robin finally, he runs away from Tigger, and then he finally catches Pooh, and he sees him, and he goes, Boo! He screams Pooh.
There's no way not to laugh at it, too.
It's somebody screaming
and it sucks
because,
like, he gives such a good delivery. Like, if it was any other name, like, if it was like, Brandon! Like, Timmy! Like, or anything. Winnie should have been it.
Yeah.
That should have been. Because Pooh, you can't just fucking walk into a scene and dramatically scream Pooh and expect anyone to take you seriously.
So yeah, he starts to confront the yellow bear, but then Pooh is like holding a chainsaw, which he then like lights on fire. and Christopher Robin's like, oh shit, I gotta get out of here. It's like he has all this motivation to confront this monster, and immediately flaming chainsaw.
He's like, oh shit, that's right, I have a stick.
Christopher Robin exits stage left. He fucking books it out of there. Robin then returns to the 100-acre wood, where Owl has been hunting Lexi. There's a chase scene. It's dark. It's the woods. It's a bunch of the same trees over and over again.
A lot of overhead shots of owls.
Yeah, a lot of overhead shots of CGI, like... it's an owl on strings and then superimposed over a drone shot of the woods. It's very funny. We finally get eventually to a final standoff between Christopher Robin, Lexi. They find Bunny at some point, and Pooh, where the standoff, the final confrontation is decided when the bear man boy glimpses his grave from the first time he died, and he's distracted by it. He's like, oh, I died there. And then he's distracted long enough for Robin to get this like fucking sneak attack critical hit in with a fire axe. And the effect for Pooh getting, it's like the axe hits his head and it goes like, pow! And like his whole skull just opens up and you see just like a little tiny brain inside get smashed. But it was like an eggshell just waiting to be cracked open.
Yeah, there's like no blood. It's
It's like opening a Wonder Ball. There was like fucking...
It's like a plastic Easter egg goes...
Yeah. Like it was made of fucking nothing. Like a stray fucking glow stick from the rave could have taken Pooh out if that's what his head is made out of.
It just looked like it provided no structural integrity because as soon as the prop hits it, the whole thing fucking falls open like a cardboard box that you like repackage together.
It's honestly, it's so funny. It had me dying. I could not handle it.
I was kind of surprised, though, to see him fucking put Pooh in the ground like this.
He did. Well, you know what? The funny thing is, he does get the killing blow on Pooh, and then, pulls out the axe, and Pooh falls right into the pet cemetery immortality pit. And no one thinks to do anything about that. Granted, I can't blame Lexi, because she doesn't know what the fuck's going on.
No.
But Christopher Robin's in the know now. He was specifically told that, hey, I buried Pooh in this grave, and he came back out of it just like Pet Cemetery. And Christopher Robin goes, okay. And then he immediately kills Pooh, who falls into the immortality grave, and he goes, not doing nothing about that. Should be fine.
Gotta go home.
And then they
dishes to do.
I have all the steak knives.
I have so many dishes to do at home.
But whatever, the day's saved. Lexi and Bunny are safe, and our heroes drive off into the night. But obviously there's too much hate in these animals for just 2 movies, because we see Owl feeding honey to the fallen creatures, and we see them slowly regenerating as the movie fades to black. Even Piglet's face is growing back.
Yeah, it was gross.
It was gross, but Piglet's growing back, so that explains why Piglet died in the first movie. Oh, so there was a point in the movie where we heard like an audio tape that Christopher Robin finds of the doctor, and I couldn't, it kind of flew by too fast. Because did you have this issue, before I even get into that, did you notice like the audio in this movie would like fuck up sometimes?
Every once in a while there was just like a weird hiccup in the audio. I think that was a projection issue though.
I was going to say, I'm curious to see if that was like just our theater or if like it's just like this cut of the movie.
That would be crazy to make it to the final cut.
Right, because like the audio every once in a while, like a character would sort of like, you'd hear their line like a second time, like it would clip in.
Yeah.
It was really weird. That was one thing I remembered that I wanted to point out and be like, did you notice that?
Yeah, no, I think that was an AMC issue on our end.
Okay, yeah. I hope so, because this movie, honestly, is fighting a lot of stuff. It can't...
it doesn't need edit issues.
But anyway, so there's a point where we hear notes from Dr. Gallup.
Mm-hmm.
And did I hear that he, like, added lizard DNA to, or, like, was it axolotl DNA?
Yes. We both kind of, like, paused, because there was a point where he was talking about adding axolotl DNA, and I was like, that's a really specific, not normal poo animal to throw in there.
Yeah, but apparently, like, because they'll, like, regrow, they've been known to regrow, like, limbs and stuff.
Okay.
So the sort of the lizard from Spider-Man, from Amazing Spider-Man, his whole thing of, I'll put lizard DNA in people, and then it'll fix all their problems. I think that was what. So these kids had individual different animal. He's like, I'm gonna make a bear one, and I'm gonna make a donkey one, and I'm gonna make a tiger one. What also a weird selection of animals too, right? Like he had DNA for rabbit, owl, bear, donkey, tiger.
Yeah, I don't know. Tiger's an interesting source.
But yeah, so in addition to that though, he was like, and I'll slip in a little axolotl DNA.
Well, I wonder if it has anything to do with the heffalumps.
Maybe. We do know that they are working on getting those in.
Is it Pooh-niverse time? Can we talk about Pooh-niverse?
Yeah, so that's the movie. Head over heels better than the first one.
Yes.
Still
bad.
Still a just absolute fart fest, but it's a really fun one.
Yes.
Like, so honestly, the first movie had some good kills. I will say there's a definitely tone shift with these movies. The first one felt sort of, to me, like watching...
exploitative?
Yeah, it felt a little bit sometimes like that. But then this one definitely felt more like a trauma film, where it was like a little more direct, like it had a vision, you know?
I think the first movie had a concept, the sequel has a competency.
Yeah.
About it.
Agreed. There's a lot of good stuff going on here. It's obviously not great. But, like, it does a lot of things that are, honestly, were super impressive to me.
Yeah.
And fun. And again, fun is the, like, word of the day. This movie is fun.
Fun.
Why go into it thinking, like, anything else? Like,
yes.
It's just, you go in, it's going to be a good time. Yeah, so now we can get into the Pooh-niverse. So we were actually treated to a little preamble when this movie started.
I've never had this in my life.
All the director and Christopher Robin came on screen, and
he's a co-producer.
Yeah,
right?
He is a co-producer and co-writer, co-director for other movies in the Pooh-niverse.
I heard they lost their costume guy. Like right before the rave shoot, so that the Christopher Robin actor had to sit with like a ton of cast members essentially on Amazon plotting all of their outfits, and he's like, okay, this size medium will be good for you, right? And the lady's like, sir, I have boobs. That is not a size medium is not gonna fit me. And he was like, okay, I gotta learn today. I gotta learn a lot today.
So Christopher Robin was played by Scott Chambers. So yeah. Scott Chambers also had to do producer, director, writer, and costume designer.
And that's pretty fun. A couple other, small roles to fulfill.
That's really
in
fun.
The editing room.
But so at the beginning of this movie, we were treated to this preamble where Scott Chambers and Rice Frake Waterfield were telling us all about the plans for the Pooh-niverse, right? So this big cinematic connected universe that everybody's doing these days. So we have it started out with Pooh 1, now we have Pooh 2.
The flagship, the foundation.
Yeah, the foundation. Pooh 3 is coming. We do know that. But in this like initial slate of movies they have here, next in line, Bambi: The Reckoning.
which we got to see a preview of.
And you know what? I was not sure at all how they were going to go about doing Bambi. And we saw a quick scene of Bambi shows up and like uses his antlers, flips over a car. And the Bambi is big, it's CGI, but it looked pretty good. I honestly, like, I you know me, I'm a big creature feature guy.
Yeah.
I much prefer when my creatures are practical. Or at the very least, like, you know, practical, but then aided a little bit by CGI. Yeah. But I understand that sometimes your creature just, it has to be CGI. Like the aliens in No One Will Save You.
Yep.
You know, like there's certain things that like you have a vision for, it can't really work. Especially, they're doing this deer, right? It's like, deer have like spindly little legs. It'd be really hard to create like a practical like
we saw a very small snippet of it. I guarantee you they have a practical
for up close like face shots.
Point, yeah.
But from a far away like distance shot like action sequence of him doing something, I thought it looked pretty good. So
it looked cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked for Bambi. But then we also have Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare.
That's the next one after Bambi. That's the one that they've said is going to be the darkest and most fucked up in tone because it is about stealing children.
Right. This one's just straight up. We're not going to Neverland. I think it's just about a guy who like thinks about Neverland and just kidnaps children.
They were really excited to tell us that Tinkerbell is like...
It's like a cohort.
She's on heroin. They're like, yeah, she thinks heroin is pixie dust. And I was like, this is cringe, but I'll wait.
Cringe, but
I'll wait till you guys put it together.
Yeah. I'm not as stoked about Neverland.
No.
I'm not you know what, Peter Pan doesn't really hold any sway for me.
No.
I'm not attached to Peter Pan at all.
All the things around Peter Pan are cooler. Hook?
I do
awesome.
like Hook. We love Hook.
Hook's great.
But I don't even really consider it a Peter Pan movie.
No.
After that, we have Pinocchio Unstrung.
This one I'm excited for.
Yes. We've had a lot of Pinocchio lately.
They bragged that he'll have a telescopic nose that he uses to
stab people. Yeah, that was a flex from them. And then all of this is building up to Pooh-niverse, is the actual name of the movie for now. Pooh-niverse Monsters Assemble. So all of the Bambi, Peter Pan, Pinocchio, the Pooh crew, they're all going to get together.
The Heffalumps, they did talk about a Heffalump movie coming.
But do you think it'll be, I think, what I'm guessing.
You think that's Pooh 3?
No. I think they might have said Heffalumps and Woozles for Pooh 3, but how cool would it be? So if then we get a sort of Freddy vs. Jason thing where the Heffalumps and the Woozles show up and are murdering people, and all the deer and the animals are all like, we murder the people. Oh. And so they've got to murder people and murder Heffalumps.
Do you think the Heffalumps and the Woozles are the Thanos for Pooh-niverse?
It could be like a Alien vs. Predator situation.
True.
I think that could be interesting. Honestly, I really do. I'm excited because I want to see a movie where all these assholes fight each other. I just want a monster slugfest.
Yeah.
It's been a while since we've had one. When was the last Freddy vs. Jason? When was the last Alien vs. Predator? We haven't had one in a while.
I mean, even those are just like two titans going at it. We're talking about an entire interconnected monster shenanigan. I don't want to call it a universe.
It is more of a shenanigan, I will admit.
A circus, so to speak.
After all that, I guess now we pretty much stated it, but how did you feel after Pooh 2?
Pooh 2 was pretty much everything I needed it to be. I don't say want because I don't think I set any particular high expectations or low expectations based on the first one. Mm-hmm. I knew that the first one they were coming in with a pretty constricted budget. It was like $100 million. Yeah, they got like 330 to make this. Oh wait, not million. Excuse me, 1,000. 100,000 versus 330,000, which is like triple your budget. That's pretty fucking good.
Yeah,
I liked it. I'm excited to see what else they have. It is flawed, but nobody in the horror space is doing this, which I have to appreciate.
Yeah, it is sort of its own little monster.
They're definitely not stepping on anyone else's toes.
No, definitely not. But I agree. This one I thought was a ton of fun. It's exactly what I wanted. Honestly, this movie was what I wanted out of the first movie. I actually was a little disappointed with the first movie.
I think everybody was.
I was expecting, I don't know what I was expecting. This, basically.
Yeah.
And I think this one was more fun. It was more like rip roaring. There's way more fun kills.
Yeah.
And there's just more of them. More kills. They're more fun. The world feels more lived in. It's just better. It's just better all around. It's still not fantastic, but it is a very good time.
There is like this breakneck speed, I think, overcorrection within the media around this after release, because you have all of these reports saying like, oh, Blood and Honey 1 is a 3% on Rotten Tomatoes, and Blood and Honey 2 is 100%. And I'm like, guys, just because it's 100% better than the first one
doesn't mean it's 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
The first one's a 3 and this one's a 25. Like, we're doing great.
Exactly.
Let's give them some space to do a little bit more, but let's not call it 100.
Yeah, it's still we put makeup on the piglet, but but you know, let's not be fooled. All right. Yeah, but other than that, I don't know what else there is to say about Pooh and the Pooh-niverse. We've covered a ton of it, and honestly, it seems like we're going to be covering a lot more in the future. So,
oh yeah, stay tuned. This is your new home for Pooh-niverse coverage.
Yeah, we should really get in touch. I think we're the only people really covering in depth,
digging through the 100-acre wood.
Yeah. Other than that, we haven't done any Final Cuts in a while. You got anything?
Oh, yeah. I feel like I'm full of Final Cuts. We've been seeing so much shit lately.
Yeah, honestly.
We treated ourselves to a bit of a double feature the other day when we went to go see this. So we started the afternoon with Immaculate.
Oh, Sydney Sweeney.
Which, I feel like the press around that has already told you the movie's fucking rad. You gotta go see that.
Immaculate was shockingly good. To the point where I honestly think Immaculate might end up on my top list for the year.
Wow.
I honestly really loved Immaculate. It did take right up to the end of the movie for me to formulate that opinion, but sometimes that's just how it rolls. I thought Immaculate was fucking rad.
Sometimes the roll credits will get you there.
Sometimes the ending really makes the movie.
Yeah.
And I think this one does. It was a good time all around, but the ending shot it up from like a 7, like right up to like an 8 or 9 for me.
Damn.
It was honestly, I loved it. So fun. What a great night. Immaculate and Pooh.
Yeah. I like that it kind of subverted the typical like Catholic horror stereotypes.
Yeah.
I think there was a lot of like well-trodden paths that they avoided in that movie. Mm-hmm. And I think they're better for it.
Definitely. On our Twitch stream, we just recently finished Alan Wake. We're kind of going through the Alan Wake series, which is a video game series. Started back in like 2012. The first game, titled Alan Wake, is about a sort of Stephen King-ish author who goes to a like lakeside cabin to get some writing done. And his wife disappears, and he goes on this like crazy journey to get her back and like fix all the shit that's going wrong in this weird Pacific Northwest town. He's got to kill. There's like this shadow creature that's like covering all the people in town in shadows, and he has to use his flashlight to burn the shadows off and then shoot him in the fucking head. But that game then like splits into, there's an Alan Wake 2 which just recently came out, but there was also a game that came out a few years ago called Control, which is all very SCP themed, which too much to go into about that if you don't know it, but we might do an episode on it basically or sometime soon. Yeah. I'm thinking about pitching it because we've honestly been so interested in it. It could be a cool topic. But anyway, the whole game series is like super interesting. I will say the first game not as good as I remembered. Pretty dull. Pretty boring. But conceptually, very fun.
And the streams were very funny.
And the streams were funny. And the VODs are there, so you should go back and watch them. But yeah, I've been having a really good time overall with the series. I'm excited to get into Alan Wake 2. But that's been really fun for me. Yeah. So I'm going to say, I'd say worth checking out. You don't necessarily have to go play Alan Wake 1. I would definitely recommend Control. Control's been a great
Control's
time.
A blast.
Control's super, super cool. Definitely go check it out. Otherwise, I think that's it from us here at the Devil's Club. We're booed out today.
Oh, yeah. It's pooing time.
Yeah, well, maybe. After honestly, after talking about it, I might have to. It might be pooing time for me. But yeah, all right, man. It's been another great episode. Remember, check out our links down at the bottom of the description of this episode.
We fixed the Discord.
Yeah, we fixed the Discord. It works now. Go join the Discord. Go check out the Twitch streams. It really helps us out. Also, subscribe to this podcast if for some reason you haven't. And also, leave a review. Can you go whatever you're listening on?
It helps.
Go leave a review. It really does help. They say it in every other podcast that is ever done by anybody else. They're not lying. It really does. It's very important. So please go leave a review. It would really help us out. Other than that, we're out for this week.
We'll be back next week, and then we'll have our week off, our usual, 3 a month situation. Yeah. And we'll be back with something spooky, scary, and spine tingling.
Wouldn't it be weird if it wasn't? What if it was just a good normal? What if we just did Downton Abbey?
I think that'd be terrifying in its own right.
All right. Until the Downton Abbey episode, Creep It Real.